Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. Sorry for such a lengthy absence, but now we are back. My name is Artem, and here is the news. For 801 days, Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. In his evening video address, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy informed that only yesterday morning Ukrainian warriors have already shot down 13 Shahed drones. During the day, Russian forces used 8 missiles of various types and almost 70 guided aerial bombs against Ukrainian border communities and positions at the front, all on the eve of Orthodox Easter. The president thanked those who helped to protect Ukrainian skies and in particular warriors of the 110th Separate Mechanized Brigade for shooting down another Russian Su-25 fighter jet in the Donetsk region. The president received reports from Commander-in-Chief Alexander Syrsky and Chief of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine Kyrylo Budanov. The reports focus particularly on Ukraine's frontline positions, concrete actions of Ukrainian units and directions. Quote, all of us should remember that Russia can only be forced to leave Ukraine alone, and this will happen. Our strengths will definitely make it happen, the strengths of our people, our military strengths, the strengths of our unity with the world, the strengths of our partners, the strengths of our diplomacy, unquote. We would really appreciate if you could recommend us to your friends and family, as well as share information on social media. This way more people would learn about the podcast and truth about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia put President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy on a wanted list, reports Mezha. The website of Russia's Ministry of Internal Affairs has posted a message about Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy being put on a wanted list. Former President Petro Poroshenko and Commander of the Ground Forces of Ukraine Alexander Pavlyuk, as well as former Deputy Defense Minister Mikhailo Koval, were also added to this list. According to Russian media Meduza, they are on the wanted list quote-unquote under an article of the Criminal Code. Ukraine's foreign ministry described Russia's actions as evidence of the desperation of the Russian state machine and propaganda, reports LBUA. According to the ministry, they are at a loss for what else to invent to garner attention. Quote, we would like to remind everyone that unlike the worthless Russian announcements, the International Criminal Court's warrant for the arrest of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin on war crimes charges is real and enforceable in 123 countries, unquote, stated the Foreign Ministry of Ukraine. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan believes that Ukraine will try to launch a new counteroffensive in 2025 after receiving military aid from the U.S., reports Ukrainska Pravda. Sullivan said he still expects near-term Russian gains on the battlefield despite the new U.S. aid package approved last month, because you can't flip a switch overnight. But he added that with the new help from Washington, Kyiv will be able to hold the defense and ensure that Ukraine resists the Russian attacks during 2024. And pointing to the scenario of war next year, Sullivan noted that Ukraine intends to move forward to regain the territory that the Russians took from it. The Financial Times adds that any new offensive by Ukraine in 2025 will depend on increased funding and approval by the US Congress and the White House. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better.
We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.